I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, June 20th, 2023, 6 p.m. meeting of the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation. In order to establish quorum, I'll call the roll from my left, please.
Key, present.
Weller, present.
Johannes, present.
Kroll here. Bond here.
Okay, we do have a quorum. Would you please stand for a moment of silence in the Pledge of Allegiance? Salute pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. This time we'll have citizens' comments. Comments from citizens are limited to 3 minutes each, and no action will be taken on what you're saying tonight unless it is an agenda item, but there will be no commentary back and forth. Please come to the podium at this time, Mr. Rodney Marshall, and state your name and your full address for our record, please, sir. And your time starts now.
Okay, my name is Rodney Marshall. I live in Gun Barrel City on Route 8 in Encina. I'm a local real estate agent with Fathom Realty, and the reason I'm here is I've got a listing that's down on West Main Street, 4.2 acres. It backs up to 1.73 acres, I believe, that the EDC already owns, which is right next to the new development that they've been talking about. And I was just wanting to bring it to the EDC's attention that there was a sizable, beautiful piece of property, and that's pretty much all I really had.
Okay.
I supplied a plat and a topical view and business cards, so I'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody would have. All they have to do is just give me an email, and I'll get back with them.
Okay, thank you so much. We
All
appreciate
right.
your time tonight.
Thank you.
And we also received a request from Mr. Kerry Kirksmith. Mr. Kirksmith, if you'll come to the podium, state your name and your full address for the record, and then you'll have 3 minutes as well, and your time starts now.
Thank you. Kerry Kirksmith, 332 Overlook Trail, Gun Barrel City in the fine subdivision of Tamarack. I had signed in the parking lot a petition to stop the deal with the funding of the 334 project. And I just want to, on the record, take that back, because now that I know more about it, it's a good deal, and I'm supporting it.
Okay.
So
Well, we appreciate your time tonight. Thank you so much. Okay, at this time, that closes our citizens' comments. We'll move to our agenda item number 2, which is to discuss, take action to approve the May 9th, 2023 EDC meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion, we discuss or take action to approve the May 9th, 2023 EDC meeting minutes.
Motion by Mr. Bond. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Weller. We'll go ahead and open the floor for discussion. Any discussion at this time? Hearing none, then we'll vote for my left, please.
Key, yes.
Weller, yes.
Johannes, yes.
Kroll, yes.
Bond, yes.
Motion carries. Moving to item number 3, discuss, take action to approve the April 2023 EDC financials. Those are in your packet. Do I have a motion?
I move that we discuss or take action to approve the April 2023 EDC financials.
Okay, we have a motion for Ms. Weller. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second for Mr. Key. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote from my left, please.
Key, yes.
Weller, yes.
Johannes, yes.
Kroll, yes.
Bond, yes.
Motion carries. Moving to item number 4, discuss, take action to approve the May 2023 EDC financials. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve that we discuss or take action to approve the May 2023 EDC financials.
Okay, I have a motion for Ms. Weller. Do I have a second? Second for Ms. Jones. Any discussion?
I know that Deidre was voted in May, so I know you didn't get to do these. So Robin, are you the one who reconciled the financials? Okay.
Any further discussion? Mr. Bond?
No, I just had that one question.
Okay, and then these were sent to our CPA. All right. Hearing no further discussion, we'll vote from my left, please.
Key, yes.
Weller, yes?
Johannes, yes.
Kroll, yes.
Bond, yes.
Motion carries. Moving to item number 5, this is a discussion-only item. Discuss the EDC loan program, financial assistance, interest rate, client review process, and risk assessment. We did have in our packet some of the accomplishments of the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation. Ms. Sikora, if you'd like to lead our discussion tonight as our executive director, we would greatly appreciate that.
Thank you. The loan program was originally established in 1998, and that year they did one loan, and the following year they did a second one that was to Hardin Survey. The rate has always been set at 2%. It just never has been any different. I haven't found the actual documents forming that program, and I can continue to research that back to the 1998 establishment of the program. There have been many loans done throughout the years. It seems to be a very popular program. We wanted to discuss, do we need to address the interest rate? Is that going to be an issue going forward? Or setting a limit on the amount of a loan? These are things that have been fairly optional throughout the years as in what I've reviewed.
I'm actually the one who had the primary discussion with Robin about this program, so I'd like to speak a little bit.
Go ahead, Ms. Weller, you have the floor.
Thank you. I begin by saying that I am not disputing any citizen's right to petition in any way whatsoever. That is not, well, it's actually what did spur me to think about this, but here is why. When the petition began, it was with a questioning of that the EDC had gotten a loan at 3.7% for $500,000 and was offering an incentive loan of the same amount, $500,000 at 2%. And the discussion at that time was whether this was fiscally responsible to borrow money at a higher interest rate than you were loaning it out. So I thought about it a little bit, and I've come up with some things just for discussion. To me, there are 3 things that have to be considered with a loan. One is the amount of the loan, the percent of interest charged, and to whom the loan is given. As near as Robin and I could research, there's not a set amount dictated anywhere. We've made loans, I believe, but the ones I'm aware of have been in the $100,000 to $500,000 range and anywhere in between. There may have been ones for less earlier on that I am not aware of.
There was one as big as $650,000.
Thank you. The second is the percentage of interest charged. All that is referenced in documentation is that the EDC is to give low-cost loans. It says nothing more than that I could find. The current amount we use is 2%. I did some really fast research, and I did a quick look and found out that if you went to a bank yesterday, a small business interest loan would cost you between 5.11% and 10.46%. In fact, I use Prosperity Bank's loan program because I know that the EDC has accounts with them. So the question is, do we keep it 2% or do we raise it, or to my mind, do we use a floating amount? For example, we will loan at 50% of whatever the current rate is for a small business if they went to a bank. I think that's open for discussion. The third thing is who the loan goes to. And I would just like to say this, that maybe the public does not know that the EDC requires a business plan, 2 years of business tax returns, 2 years of personal tax returns of the person or the business applying for the loan. These documents are all confidential to the EDC and not open for public view. I would hope that the citizenry would trust that we have done our due diligence and believe that we are doing what we believe to be in the best interest of the city. Now, I brought this up because my question going forward is, how do we decide? I guess we decide, and then how do we get public feedback on whether they believe that we are making an appropriate change? And I don't know the answer to that question. But rather than have, and let me say again, I am all for citizens and their right to petition, but perhaps we can make some changes now that would make the loan process go smoothly, more smoothly in the future. And that's just something I think we ought to discuss.
Thank you, Ms. Weller. Ms. Licor, do you know if we've ever had a loan that was taken to petition before?
No, this has never happened.
And that was with loans from $650,000 on down since 1998?
Yes.
Or 99, and they were all given the 2% rate?
Yes, they have
So
always.
the precedent had been set that that was something that the EDC could do. Okay. Any further discussion from the board or thoughts?
I'd just like to say that, I think all that is great, but sometimes I hate when we have 95% of our energy chasing 5% of the naysayers, and you're always going to have those people. You're not going to make everyone happy. And each individual project is going to have people that love it and people that hate it. You're not going to find a fix, and you're not going to find a cure for every situation. And I think if we have learned anything over the last year with this project, that trying to come up with that is really, I think, a waste of time. I think you're just going to have to treat each project as its own entity, and I think our sheet that we have here speaks to our own accolades and what we've been able to accomplish over the years, but I think to try to have any further discussion to come up with something is just not, I don't really see where
I think we
that's
should
gonna get us.
promote this list of accomplishments.
I
That
think-
should be our next
I
step.
think we don't do a good enough job of letting people know some of the good things we do. Everybody hears the bad things.
I don't think we actually have done any bad things, Mr. Kroll, so,
Well, we have
I'll
with some.
disagree with that,
We have
but-
with some, but
yeah, possibly.
Has to be recognized.
Mr. Key, you have the floor.
The IRS, in its infinite wisdom, tasked the state to come up with a law to govern nonprofit EDCs. That's what we are. There's a law that was established that tells us what we can and what we cannot do. It tells us how we can do it and what we can't do to do it. I think that these questions are very important, and I think from the standpoint of what we're talking about, a subprime rate or a rate tied to the prime, floating with the prime, I think that that's all something we need to talk about in a closed session. However, one thing that I'd like to put on the table and on the record is this EDC is governed by state law, state edict that states what we are to do and how we're to do it. And we can't operate outside that. And we have an attorney that monitors what we're doing to make sure that we fall in line of that state statute. And I think that's important for everyone to know.
Thank you, Mr. Key. And I think also to add to the conversation is that part of our role as the EDC is to attract businesses. And if we can help a business, I'm sure that the city did several things when Walmart came, when Lowe's came. You know, when you have a project of those magnitudes, even our Pier 334 project, you know, getting that project going and being a partner to that. And so if I can go to a bank and get the same loan, same rate, I'm probably going to just go to the loan, bank and get that. So I'm thinking that, the 2%, I can understand probably, I wasn't on the board in 1999, but, probably part of that decision-making process may have been, we're trying to entice businesses and, bring them into our city, and if this is something we can do to help out, to show our good faith and goodwill, I think that might have been part of it. That would certainly be part of it for me. And looking at the size of the project and how much revenue and how many jobs it's going to generate could also be a determining factor of, what we're willing to loan someone. And these loans are typically 10 years at the maximum, right, Robin?
That's correct.
Okay.
Bond, can I be recognized?
Yes,
Just
Mr.
have a curiosity question. Have we reached out to any other EDCs of cities of our size or smaller and the way we're funded to see what their lending practice is? What rate how do they go about establishing? 2% since 98 seems like we might need to go up a little bit.
Okay. I've checked with Maybank and Palestine just on their forms, but I'd be happy to do some more local research and see.
Yeah, I'd just like to see.
Even small towns around Dallas and how they do that too.
Some of them, the local around the lakes.
May I be recognized?
Yes, Ms. Jones, sorry.
Robin, when you reached out to those other cities, what kind of rates did their sites show?
I honestly don't recall. I apologize. I'm happy to research this for you, though, and get it all back to you for a more informed discussion.
Okay, thank you.
That'd be great.
May I be recognized?
Yes, Mr. Key.
The only thing that concerns me about trying to compare apples to oranges, we are a city that lives off of sales tax only. There's only, I think, 3 in the state that live off
Yeah.
of sales tax. They're all larger than us.
That's true.
But I don't know that we can talk about that apples to apples in that standpoint. But it would give us a line of questioning that we can compare against and go for. I don't know that we can meet what they're saying, but at least it would give us a bright line that we can look at.
I agree.
Any further discussion at this time?
Well, I think one thing we need to look at is if everybody in the area is doing the same, there's not really an incentive to come here versus the next town.
Right.
I think that keeping it low is our job, it's our purpose, to bring businesses here. And if we're going to be the same as or higher as a neighboring city, then there's really not a whole lot incentive to not go to the neighboring city. And
Exactly.
we need those jobs here, and we need those businesses here.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yes, especially in view of the fact that Gun Barrel City doesn't have some incentives that other cities have. We can't rebate property taxes, for example. We can't give any kind of utility,
Yeah.
what's the word I'm searching for? Rebate, thank you. So I think we're in such a unique position. I brought this up only because I thought we ought to take a look at it and see if we wanted to stay the course or do something different.
No, I think it was a great discussion, and Robin, we'll look at discussing this in executive session maybe in the next few weeks, or do you have a timeline that you had in your head that you'd like for us to kind of come together again?
I can have this ready for the July meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
I was just making sure we gave you some time to do homework, and that'll give all of us time to,
Thank you.
look into it ourselves and kind of see what we think, and then we can bring that information to the conversation in July. Okay, I appreciate the conversation tonight. All right, moving on to the next item. Item number 6, again, is a discuss-only item. Discuss bids for accounting services from local CPAs. Robin?
Okay, so I contacted 2 other local CPAs. I tried to reach 4, but 2 of them, I believe, are not in business anymore. I spoke with Sherry Rogers, and she gave us a quote of about $200 a month, which is very similar to what we currently have going with Angela. Then I spoke with Sarah Parrish, and we had a great conversation, and I told her some of the things we are asking for to transfer from QuickBooks to Excel spreadsheets so that the information's clearer. And she said, I'm very familiar with that. I have several churches that request that, and so that's not a problem. Her quote was $350 a month. And then I spoke with Angela to ask her if she could, I sent her 2 of the reports the city uses that are very clear and, budget versus actual for each month as you go through, and asked her, can you provide reports like this for us, and what would be the fee you would charge to do this? And she asked to schedule a meeting, and we haven't had it yet, so I'm sorry.
And seems like to me, being on the EDC for a while, this has been an ongoing conversation, trying to get our financials to mimic those of the city council so that it's an easy read for both governing bodies, correct?
Yes, this has
With
been
her.
requested for as long as I've been here, but I will say, when I go look through our financials for years and years ago, they look like this, as Angela's always done them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to really try to press for a better, a more transparent, a more understandable list of what financially happened each month.
Who does the city use?
The city uses Mickey. She does them all in-house.
Madam Director, I understand that it's absolutely necessary that our 990s are prepared by a third-party auditor, by a CPA.
Yep.
But what about our day-to-day activities, writing checks?
We have everything going through the CPA right now, and we could try to find a CPA who would just come into our offices maybe once a week for a half day, maybe not even that often, but just to set up QuickBooks on our computer and get those things done, the regular day-to-day stuff. That is another option. And then just have the workforce stuff and the tax stuff done through Teresa Crier's office or whoever we choose.
Do we have a contract end date with our current, or is
We
it
do
just
not.
ongoing? Okay.
Can we task you with searching or putting together a committee to search for a service that provides that? I mean, in industry, there's services that come and they provide you training and keep an update cloud copy of the QuickBooks.
Okay.
Several organizations I'm on the board of, ministry, nonprofits, do that. And that's how they just, once a year, is turned over to the CPA for the 990s and the franchise tax reports.
It's been suggested that we bring the accounting in-house for some time, and I think city council would be a lot happier with that. So that may be the best option.
That's something we can probably talk about, can't we?
Yes, Sarah Parrish offers that. She said it costs more for her to come and work in-house with us, but I hadn't considered doing it that way, so I can do some more research into that. And I know there's services out there that can help you. Even QuickBooks has a live person who will just go through everything with you, over the computer.
Well, in the past, it's been one person trying to man all of that at one time. Now we've got 2 in the office, which is a great thing that's happened. And that could be something that might be beneficial to us. It would behoove us to do that now at this point.
Absolutely. Let me do a little bit more research on that.
Is that something, Robin, that you would be able to bring back in July, or do you need a little bit more time?
I'm not sure on that.
Maybe August? Just to give yourself time? I mean,
Yeah.
that's a short window.
Either July or August, but yeah, I'm thinking maybe August on that accounting. Okay.
Yeah. That way you can do your due diligence. And then if we need to form a committee, I guess we could do that as well.
Thank you.
We can discuss that. Okay, moving to the next item. Number 7 is an update from Ms. Sikora on economic development, including Heritage Parkway Traffic Circle.
I was not able to reach Joe Mundo. I did reach out to him, left messages, but I do know that Hardin finished the survey. So I printed that off this afternoon. So it's a survey of the actual road easement. It's much wider than the road itself, Heritage Parkway, when it goes up to the north, and so we may already own enough property to make the circle. If not, then we're going to ask permission for a few feet from the school, and then I'm going to get in contact with the property owner on the other side.
Okay. Any questions or discussion on that? Okay, hearing none. At this time, we will adjourn to executive session Item A will be deliberations regarding economic development negotiations, Section 551.087, and then also deliberations about real property. Let the record show it's 6:25. Okay, let the record show that the EDC is back in session, and the time is 6:43. Having no action items for us to vote on from our executive session tonight, I appreciate the two city council members that came tonight, April Burns and Cindy Key. We appreciate you guys being here with us tonight. And with nothing further on the agenda, I need a motion to adjourn.
I motion we adjourn.
Mr. Key.